Hi there, this is Linda and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm putting together my Project Life spread for March 30th through April 5th, 2026, and I'm using the Booked for Spring collection from Cocoa Daisy. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so this is the first week leading into April, so I'm going to use the April Booked for Spring collection from Cocoa Daisy. And this actually turned out to be a perfect week for this collection because I have some book themed stories and I have some spring stories. So I have my take a note here, which has all of my notes from the week and some of my photos from the week. I documented day in the life on Thursday and I printed only a couple of photos, or maybe like even just one that was from day in the life, I think, or maybe even none. Like I tried to not print any of my day in the life photos because those are already documented in my day in the life. But I did have a decent amount of other photos from this week. So I did my spring yard work. So I had a photo of the yard. And then let's see, I made ramen and my daughter came over for dinner and we did stuff, I think. No, you know what? I think that was actually a different week. So this, I made ramen again, but it wasn't for her coming over. That was actually in March. Let me just trim this. This is why I have to look at my notes in my take a note because I don't remember what happened. I hosted a party at work for one of my former direct reports was leaving. And then, let's see, I read in the reading room. We made chocolate ice cream. I worked on my cross stitch. And then I got these stickers. So maybe something like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through the cards here. So I do have this one 4x6 pocket, and these kits have some 4x6 cards. So I could put like, this is that pose card that comes in the stationery kit. Or the rest of these are the pocket cards from the pocket card add-on. Kind of like this one. Not sure if I'm going to stick with that, but we'll see. Then let's see what we have. There's this little guy, which is super cute for a title card, perhaps. This would be good for some journaling. That cute floral. Oh, I do also really like this April, and I also really like the highlights, but I think I would use this one. I might use that though in my stories album. Here's the marketing card. Get this bookish. That's really cute. Like this one as for story, for a story. This one is good too for my yard work. I didn't actually take any photos of my coffee this week, even though that is normally. So this one should be good about my ice cream. I could use this to tell story of my ice cream. I could actually just cut this off though and put it on my photo. And think about that. So let me kind of go through here and see what stories I have to tell. So of course I want a journaling card for my bullet point list, which I think will be that one. And then I had this party that I needed to tell the story of, so I could maybe use this one. And that will go next to there. And then Hello Spring. And then I can use this for some stories, but I don't have a lot of longer stories. I have a lot of micro stories to the point where I think I need like 2 bullet point list cards. So I think both of those will work. And then I think I'm just gonna cut that one out, and then I want something else for down here. I really like this one, but I think I'm gonna save that for in my stories album. Maybe I'm just gonna use this and then put some sort of embellishment on it. Okay, so I think that's a good starting place in terms of cards. Let me just move all of these guys out of the way. So I've got a lot of stickers and washi that I could definitely use here. And then we've got some alphas, chipboard. So I think what I'm going to do is actually just go ahead and put you guys in the voiceover so I can start getting this one put together. I have a base here, but I think I need to work on my journaling and kind of figuring out how I want to document each of these or decorate each of these photos and just go from there. This spread ends up coming together really quickly. Honestly, when I was editing this video, I thought maybe I lost some footage because of how short it was. But I think it's just that I have such a routine down with putting together these spreads, especially when I'm working from a kit. And because I use the same brands over and over again, I'm really familiar with their style. So even though each kit is different, the Cocoa Daisy kits have a certain rhythm and the Ali Edwards kits have a certain rhythm, and I'm just used to it. So that's something to keep in mind if you are getting into project life and you're worried that this takes a really long time, or you do your first spread and you're like, oh my goodness, that took me hours. It gets quicker once you've done it longer, and if you work with kits, for sure. So anyways, to the spread and what I'm working on now, I did my title card, which I usually do first. And now I'm moving on to some journaling. This journaling card here, I decided to tell the story of an office party. I usually don't add a lot of details about stuff that's going on at work because my work is highly confidential. But this week we had kind of a social thing because one of our coworkers quit, and she's someone that I used to supervise. So I was kind of involved in planning her going away party, and me and my boss were kind of doing that. So I just wanted to document that. And then I took a photo of the party, of the cake, and some of the decorations that we got. So it's, just a conference room party, but it was kind of a big piece of my week because I had to go get a bunch of stuff for it and collect money and do all of that. So it was just kind of out of the ordinary. So I wanted to document that. I decided to add a little cluster of embellishments on top of this photo because this is an office party. There's this very ugly whiteboard in the photo. And to cover that up, I just added a piece of the washi tape, and then I layered a few things. I layered some of the stickers, and these are from a variety of kits. If you are curious which kits I get from Cocoa Daisy, I do share an unboxing video every month so you can see kind of what kits I got and what is in each kit. I will link in the description box below the unboxing video for this specific kit. These are the March kits. No, these are the April kits for 2026, called Booked for Spring. But if you are curious, I do get the scrapbook kit with the pocket card add-on, which is perfect for project life. I also get the stationery kit and the Classic Cousin sticker kit. That label I'm using there is from the Classic Cousin sticker kit. So I do like to mix all of my kits in. And then I get the washi trio because I love washi tape. So these chipboard pieces are in the scrapbook kit, and there were these chipboard pieces that said spring. I feel like they've done this now for maybe a whole year at this point, or maybe a little bit more, where they have had chipboards that are cut out letters to write the name of the season. And I really love that. I really like the change of the season. I love documenting that. I like that they are custom chipboard pieces rather than the same shapes over and over again. And my daughter's name is Summer. So when it comes to the summer one, it's super helpful for me. I'm also using stickers from that Classic Cousin sticker kit. There's always some word phrase strips on one sticker sheet there. So you can see I used one on top of that whiteboard for the cluster of embellishments. And I used another one here for this spring photo. This is me prepping the yard, so I used one of those label stickers just to add a few details on there, and that's something I like to do to add a little bit of details to some of my photos when there's just a little micro story to tell. Often the photo kind of tells the story on its own and you don't need to add anything, but sometimes it's nice to add something. This week we made some chocolate ice cream, homemade chocolate ice cream. It is absolutely amazing. I love it so much. And this is the first time we made it this season. We don't make it in the winter because it's too cold. So it was finally starting to warm up and we felt like it was ice cream season. So I was super excited. So to document that, I just trimmed down this card that had this eating on it and I'm going to put a enamel dot on the little checkbox next to dessert. And I'm using a label sticker to add a little bit of detail that this is homemade ice cream. I think I'll remember that, but maybe I won't. And that way I know that this is our homemade chocolate ice cream and not store-bought ice cream. If I had thought this through, I would have put the label down first so I could have layered the piece from the 3x4 card on top of it, but I didn't think it through. So I just trimmed it down and adhered it next to it, and it ended up working out fine. If I didn't want to cut that 3x4 card down, I could have cut my photo down and put it on top of the card, but I felt like this was just a different way to kind of mix it up. For these two cards here, I'm going to do a bullet point list of micro stories for the week. This is something I like to do in pretty much every single Project Life spread, where I just include some of the micro stories from the week in a bullet point list form because they are too small of stories to get their own journaling card or even sometimes be represented in a photo, but they are still details of life that I wanted to document. So this week, I added in the detail of starting to read a new really thick book because this kit is kind of a bookish theme. And I do have that photo of me reading in our reading room, which was perfect for documenting this week for this, perfect for using this kit. So I was super excited about that. That was totally unintentional when I took that photo. We also tried a new restaurant. We stopped at REI and I got some new stickers, which I have a photo of there. I documented a day in the life this week. We went to pick up mulch for the spring yard work, and then I did that yard work. We went out to lunch with my boyfriend's family. We made the chocolate ice cream. We watched Scream 4. These are like the little stories. We did a lot of chores around the house, and then we started planning some stuff for our upcoming vacation. So those are the types of stories that I'm adding in these micro stories. And I added some of them on that first card, and then I just kind of overflowed and I'm adding the rest here. Usually I only do one journaling card with these bullet point list of stories, but this week I had a lot of these micro stories and I really didn't have any bigger stories. So I didn't want to force myself to pare these down and only have one card. And it totally works to do it this way. I definitely could do only bullet point list stories if that's how you wanted to approach your spread. But often I will try to pull some of my stories into kind of a theme and have a card that just tells a longer story or stories related to a theme instead. Next, I wanted to add an embellishment onto this filler card to kind of create my own filler card. So there's obviously filler cards in the kit. I've used a couple of them in the spread, but to make this a little bit more personalized, I picked one of the pattern cards and I just added a chipboard on there. And that way it's just a little bit more, a little bit more me as opposed to just a filler card that is one and done. So I like having the option. If you wanted to make it a little bit more personal too, you could always put a smaller photo on top of that card, or you could add some journaling on a label. You could also add some ephemera. There's just a lot of options when using those patterned cards. I'm adding some chipboard pieces across the spread just to add a little bit of detail. I don't necessarily need to embellish every single photo. In this one, though, I end up embellishing, I think, all but one, just depending on what I want in my spread. And I just add a little bits here and there until it feels balanced to me. On this photo of Pumpkin, my cat, I wanted to layer some of the word phrase strips from the Classic Cousin sticker kit. I always like doing that with word phrase strips, and with these kits, I like that the word phrase strips come in a variety of colors, so I don't need to pull any from my stash. I can just stack these together and have kind of an assortment of colors that match the kit. I am just going to go ahead and start slipping things in the pocket. I didn't slip in that one of my cross stitch because I am going to actually come back and add a label sticker on there and add a few details. I love cross stitching, and I've been working on the same project for off and on for like 6 years or something. It's really been a long time, but it's super fun, and I've been working on it a bit more over the past like few months, I guess, since it really got cold. And once it starts to warm up a bit more, I will probably move off of it, but we'll see. So I just wanted to make a note that this is kind of the progress on that project and where I am. And just adding a few details onto that label sticker. And then I'm going to use my tiny attacher to add a few staples and hold it in place, and then slip this into the pocket. I'm going to go ahead and slip everything in the pocket, finish off this spread. I really love how this one came out. I feel like it looks super springy and is really kind of nodding towards that change of seasons, which I am super excited about. And this is that first week in April. So even though the first day of spring is officially in March, we really don't start feeling like spring here until April, and sometimes even later April. But we did have a few nice days this week, so it was a perfect week to use this kit. Here is a look at that completed spread. I really love how this one came out. All these spring colors are just so much fun. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And as always, I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Bye.